right, Patrick joins us now. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. I want to start here. You had 52 targets against last year, which is not a lot. And it's almost like Barry Bonds not getting pitched to, right? How do you view that? Do you like it when we're talking about, like, do you like being tested? Do you want guys to throw your way? Do you view that as a badge of honor? How do you view that?
I mean, I see its pros and cons with it. Obviously you want to generate more turnovers, get more interceptions, but not everything has to be on the stat sheet. I feel like the common denominator with corners is, well, amongst fans is they look at corners briefly based off how many interceptions they get, on how they change the game around. But sometimes fans don't look at the fact that, teams may not throw you away. And that's a huge effect on the other team, because sometimes, their best receiver could be locked down and they're not getting, the targets that they wanted to see because the corner doing their job. So, I take takes its pros with it. So it's a bit of a compliment as well too. So.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment. All right. So last year, the Broncos defense goes from 27th in the league to 3rd in points. And obviously there's a huge leap that goes into that. If someone comes to you and says, why did that leap happen? And like, we're talking about could have been 3 defensive player of the year candidates. You obviously win the award. But like what went into that leap from a personnel standpoint, a scheme standpoint, just a development standpoint with Sean Payton? What happened?
I think, obviously with our team and our defense, I think we brought in the right personnel in that regard to make those changes happen. But I think most of the credit goes towards Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator. For him to be able to allow guys to shine in their own skill set within the defense, and and just bringing in the confidence for guys each and every week, just with his play calling and how aggressive his defense is. So a lot of credit goes to him because behind the scenes, a lot of people don't get to see the work he's doing. So I say credit goes to Vance.
Explain something he helped you with, just tangible. And I know people talk about how hard you work on your technique and all that stuff, but like, what exactly did Vance Joseph make you better at last year?
Supplying me with a great D-line. I think that's one of the biggest things for me. Because all times of none, we be watching film, and for us corners, we looking at different concepts. Then Vance always point out to the front 7, and he looks and says, like, DBs, like, look at the front 7. The receivers ain't got that much time, between the route and the quarterback, because the rush is getting there. So when I look at it in that perspective, I realized that I could play more aggressive and hone in more into my strengths, so, it's always good to have, a front 7 like that as well.
If someone, alien, comes down and says, I need to find out what Patrick Surtain's deal is, what play do you think last year typifies that experience? What play do you think, and again, only 52 targets, so sometimes it's just the fact that the quarterbacks throw away from you. But if you were to say this, I want this on the Patrick Surtain teach tape, what play would that be from last year?
I'll think my interception against the Colts. A lot of people say the pick 6, but that's kind of getting old on me a little bit. I've seen it plenty of times. I think the most underrated interception I had was against the Colts, because it was sort of like I baited the QB into making a specific throw that he thought he had, and then he threw it. Then I baited him into throwing an interception. It was pretty cool. It was like a Tampa 2 coverage. So basically my job is the flat, and I was reading quarterback eyes and vision. So anything that comes in my zone in the flat, I really break off of, and to make a playoff. And he threw it into my flat zone. But while he was doing it, I baited him into thinking I took somebody else. Then he thought he had somebody open, then I baited him into interception. So, if you've seen it on film, it's pretty much self-explanatory in that regard. So it's pretty cool.
What is the key to baiting a quarterback like that? Is that using your eyes? Is it using your feet? Like, is it everything to make him think, to lull him into a false sense of security?
Yeah, it's like deceptive in a way. You know what I mean? You sort of make it seem like in quarterback's vision that you're going this way, but in reality, you're not. So it's all about, it's like chess, not checkers at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just playing mind games a little bit, moving around with your disguise, showing a certain look before the snap. Then once the snaps start, making him think his read is there than not, you know what I mean? So it's like a cat and mouse game for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Playing DB. So we had Marlon Humphrey on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the fact that playing for DB for Nick Saban, I mean, that's just like, that's it. Like that is the most important thing you can do from a development standpoint. Take me through the most important thing about football you learned from Nick Saban. From a scheme standpoint, Marlon's take was that you can't do anything without your feet. It starts from there, but everybody learns a different thing, how to play with their shoulders, how to read wide receivers. You show up in Tuscaloosa, and the time you leave 3 years later, what did you learn about playing defensive back from Nick Saban?
I think just technique wins at the end of the day. A lot of defensive back play hones in on a lot of technique. And, when he was coaching the defensive backs, a lot of his coaching and philosophy had a lot to do with technique from that standpoint. And each and every day we work in new nuances, new techniques every day to hone in on our craft, even if it could get boring. But he wanted to damn near perfect the technique. Then in the game, it becomes second nature. So I'll definitely say technique for sure.
On your Broncos team now, obviously, Sean Payton, offensive coach, but you're going to learn stuff from him. Same question. Is there anything about ball that you've taken from Sean Payton? Now, a lot of times, I mean, most famous duo in history, Brady and Belichick. Brady learned about defenses from Bill Belichick, and that helped him. Is there anything from the offensive side that Sean Payton has helped you with that now you understand offensive ball better?
Yeah, Sean, he's a situational guy. He goes over certain situations throughout the game. And I think it goes hand in hand with offense and defense. But, I learned a lot about the offensive side and basically seeing how they read defenses, what they see pre-snap, how they try to beat defenses and their coverages, certain adjustments. So when I sort of tap into that, and, he talked about situations and certain looks through practice, damn near, every second he could take. So that helped a lot into my football knowledge and understanding not only what we do defensively, but into understanding how offenses will try to attack us in different situations. So he definitely helped me tap in to that regard. So
speaking of the Broncos, Bo Nix obviously surprised a lot of people last year. I was high on him just because of how much football he played at the college level. You guys made the playoffs last year. Tell me something about Bo Nix that you don't think the common fan or the common media member appreciates.
He's got a personality to him. I think he brings a lot of energy into the locker room as well. Even though he just seems like very poised and this and that, but Bo would say jokes here and there throughout the locker room. So, I just think he's a good guy to be around the locker room for sure. I think the notion around him is that he's very locked in. He always so locked in. But Bo, he loves to be around the fellas, loves to be around the guys as well too. So I think that's one thing about him that people may not notice about him. So
help finish this sentence for me, because we talked about Payton, we talked about Bo Nix, we talked about how good the defense is. If the Broncos are legitimate Super Bowl contenders this year, it's because you guys did what? I
say we bought into the process. I think that's one of the key things I see with Super Bowl winning teams, that they don't get complacent, and they just keep on striving for better each and every week. So I say buy into the process for sure.
All right, we're gonna do some quick hitters, but first of all, before we get to that, tell us what you're doing with Muscle Milk. I did a big old intro before. I don't want to waste your time with it. Big old intro on what you're doing with Muscle Milk, but you tell us.
Yeah, so I'm glad to partner with Muscle Milk this year. Muscle Milk has supplied me with the beneficial that I need for the off season. So just with their brand and company. So starting today, fans can enter to win their own NFL training camp experience with Muscle Milk. So be sure to follow Muscle Milk in their social channels for more info on that. So starting today, August 11th. So make sure you get those sweepstakes so you can have a chance to win. So
beautiful. All right, quick hitters. Is there a hobby or an interest that would surprise people about Patrick that you have?
I say I love traveling around the world.
There you go.
I'm a travel enthusiast, so I'll definitely say that.
Where'd you go this offseason?
I went to Japan for the first time.
There you go.
Then I went to later this summer. I went to south of France, Saint Tropez, and Cannes. So, and then I went to Greece. So,
oh, very nice. You are a travel enthusiast. All right, you played football in South Florida. Tell me the best high school player you played against, because obviously you're playing NFL players at least once a month when you're down there. I'm from Orlando. I went to school in Miami. Like, who's the best high school player you saw?
From Florida?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, the best high school players, I mean, there's so many.
Yep.
Man, I'll probably say Sam Bruce.
Yes.
Florida legend. Rest in peace.
Yep.
Sam
Absolutely.
Bruce, Florida legend for sure.
Yeah, no, he is his tape is legendary. All right, we do two things with everybody. One is called One Rep Back. You get to take back any play of your career, any level, could be in college, could be at the NFL. What are you redoing?
One rep back. Let's see. So during college, I don't want to bring this up at all. So hopefully this doesn't resurface. But during the game, I say my sophomore year against Mississippi State, I was going in for a tackle. And a running back hurdled me.
Oh no!
Yeah, he hurdled just straight up over me. I felt pretty embarrassed after, and I watched it on film. I was like, man, that's pretty bad. Yeah, I definitely wish I could have that moment back. Maybe approach.
What do the coaches say? What do the coaches say in that?
Like,
or do you say
it's not to discredit that. You know, some guys are just freakishly athletic, and they had that in their bag. But it's definitely one of those moments that I wish I could have back. Definitely one of my downfall moments. So,
all right, you recovered. All right, last thing is called badasses. Most badass person you've ever played with at any level, toughest, grittiest, just the legend you tell people about whenever people talk about football.
So I'll probably go back to high school. We had a player named Jade Silvera.
Okay. Wait, Nesta Jade Silvera from Miami, right? Yeah. And then went to Arizona State.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was tenacious, man. He used to get after it in high school. He was one of those guys where if you wanted him to be physical, mean, aggressive, like you could count on him. We know he had our back at the end of the day, you know what I mean? One of my favorite teammates ever.
So just to recap, since I went to Miami, Sam Bruce, best player you played against. Jade Silvera is your badass. You should have just been a Kane, Patrick.
See, I don't even know.
Different era.
But yeah, I definitely say him.
All right, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Patrick Surtain, Muscle Milk. Talk to you later, buddy.